Hello student, welcome to Ain Smart Classes. In today's sessions, we will discuss the marking schemes of CBSE Class 12 Board Examination Geography question paper. So let's start. So the first section A, here you can see question number 1 to 17, these are multiple choice question and total marks allotted for this section is 17. So let's start from question number 1. Question number 1, as you can see right now on your screen, which one of the following cities serve as the headquarter of two railway zones? So cities are given here, the name of the cities Kolkata, Chennai, Jaipur, Bilaspur. So from these four cities, we have first option A, which is correct answer, because Kolkata is the headquarter of Eastern Railway as well as Southeastern Railway, as well as Metro Railway's headquarter also located here. So as per this question, option A is the correct answer, Kolkata. Next question, so let us discuss question number 2. Question number 2, choose the right group of states where Dravidian language is spoken majorly. So the question is asked about Indian languages and their origin. So we have different language families. From that, Dravidian is one of the important language group, which is mainly spoken by southern states, state like Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, Karnataka, etc. Now talking about the points, option A, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Maharashtra, no. Karnataka, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh, again this point is mismatch with this question here. And option number C, Tamil Nadu, Kerala and Karnataka is the right answer. You can see these three states, they are belonging from this southern part of our country, and here the main language that is Dravidian language group here, and they have though different languages in their state wise, but the main language family is Dravidian language family. So that is the point to be considered here for this question. So question number 2, right answer is option C. Now the next question, in which of the following countries the slash and burn cultivation known as milpa? So the options are Mexico, Malaysia, Indonesia and India. So which option is correct? So we know this slash and burn agriculture, it has different names in different parts of the world. In India, northeastern states, it is known as jhum cultivation, right? So in world's perspective, so this question is asking here, what is the name, means in which country this cultivation is known as milpa? So the right answer is Mexico. So question number 3, right answer is here Mexico. Now next question, choose the correct option related to interport port. So here this is question which is very important, right? These are the ports playing important roles here, and if you categorize them here, they have different identities. Now on the basis of these questions, here which option is correct? Option C is correct here. So option C is right answer here. So this is the right answer. So the next question, we will discuss the next question here. Question number 5. So in our session, this is the question number 5 MCQ question. which of the following statement related to the concept of development are correct? Choose the appropriate option. So we have to choose appropriate option, which is basically justifying the meaning of development. So let us observe and examine the statement which are given here. So statement number 1, development means positive change in life. Development is always value positive, that we know. Growth may be negative as well as positive, but development is always value positive, that we have to note down here. So development means positive change. Number 2, when positive growth is there, it is development. Again, this is correct. Development is value positive, as we discussed here, right? Number 3 option, statement number 3, when quantity is greater, it is development. Is it correct? No, because this development is not considered with quantity. This is considered with qualitative change, which is positive. So this is incorrect statement here. Number 4, statement number 4, development is always relative to value. Again, this is correct option, justifying the meaning of development. So on the basis of this statement, we can say option 1, 2 and 4 is correct. So only 1, 2 and 4 are correct. So the option B is the correct answer for this question. So this is question number 5. Now going to the next question. So the next question is here, question number 6. Question number 6, if you observe, there are different approaches to study the development, correct? As well as we have their characteristics also. So you have to match them in a proper sequence. So let us observe each and every approach and their characteristics, whether they are matching or not, that we are going to justify here. So as per the question here, this first approach which is used here, income approach, one of the oldest approach here, oldest method here to measure the development, and you know the formula or the process here, the total income of a country which is divided by its total population, that is this income approach, which is very basic level, that approach here. So we can consider this income approach with these characteristics which is mentioned here. It is one of the oldest approaches, right? Now the welfare approach. This approach always considered what? That human being is the core or central part of their discussion. So as per this approach, human being targeted beneficiaries. So these characteristics is correctly matching with this approach. Now this basic needs approach, it is very important to understand. Basic needs approach, it is proposed by one of the important organization of the world, that is International Labour Organization, and there are some basic needs that we are not going to discuss here, but this is the approach which was suggested by International Labour Organization, that is basic needs approach. And the last one, which is capability approach, suggested by Professor Amartya Sen. And this approach basically concern about what? Health, education and access to resources. These are the key parameters of the approach. Now after this discussion or analysis, right, you can go and select the option from the questions, right? So the next questions we are going to discuss here, this is question number 6 and the next question is question number 7. So let us understand this question number 7. So question number 7, choose the correctly matched pair from the following: red color workers, next option that is gold color workers, pink color, white color, correct? So this identities, whether they are matching or not, we have to understand that, correct? Red color is incorrect here. Gold color is perfectly match your environmental concerns, right? So this kind of consultancy, that, or higher level of research, workers, so they are considered as the part of gold color workers job, right? So as per this, option is correct, option B is correct here. Now you have option C, pink color workers and white color workers. So these are the options which is also not matching with the questions. So therefore we'll consider this option B is the correct answer for the given questions, right? So the next questions we are going to discuss, that is question number 8. Question number 8. So a basic level questions, right? The loudness of the sound is measured in the unit known as, option D is the correct answer. This is decibel, dB, right? Now the next question we are going to discuss, that is question number 9. Which one of the following is a natural process of land degradation? See, the land degradation basically related with both factors, physical factors as well as man-made factors. So both factors, they are parallelly responsible for land degradation, but most of the cases that human made factors, they are the mostly responsible here. So let us examine the questions, and as per the question questions requirement, the natural process which is responsible for land degradation, that is gully erosion, right? So let us talk about this question once again, so you will be understanding that how this point is relevant here. Now the mining activities, this is human activities that very well. Now the gully erosion, this is the erosion which is related with what? Running water based erosion, correct? So you have heard about this seat erosion, that gully erosion, ravines, etc. They are the the result of what? Running water based erosion. And the remaining points of that option C and option D, this is industrial waste and shifting cultivation. They are also responsible factor for land degradations, but as per the question paper requirement, these are not eligible, so we are removing them here from our consideration, industrial waste as well as shifting cultivation. So option B is the correct answer for this question, right? So the next questions we are going to discuss about question number 10. So question number 10, which one of the following phases is associated with gradual slowing down of population growth in India? See, if you are talking about that history of India's population growth, right, there are several phases, and different phases we have different characteristics. And so from this given option, in which one of the following phase we observe this kind of slowing down trend in our population growth, right? So as per this question, option D is the correct answer, that is phase 4 of India's population. This is the phase associated with gradual slowing down of population growth in India. So let us explain this question from our analysis here. So if you are talking about the phase 1, you can check the phase 1. This is the time period 1921, and this is the period is known as stationary phase of growth. Now phase 2 started from here 1921 to 1951, and this is the phase where we observe steady population growth, correct? Phase 3, this is very crucial and important in terms of India's population growth history, because this is the phase we observed what? Explosion, population explosion, right? So that is a drastic change, right? So a huge growth in our population that we observed during this particular phase. This is the third phase of India's population growth. Now the last one is phase 4. So phase 4 started from till 1981 to till present, And the growth of this period, if you analyze, so what is the trend here? Slowing down gradually. So as per the question, so that is the correct answer. And here this is the phase 4 of India's population. So this is that discussion about this question. Next question, so we are going to the next question to discuss here. So this question number 11, this east-west corridor connects which of the following set of cities? So let us understand the two important nodes we have to identify from the given options here. So regarding this project, I want to discuss about another important that thing, that is, in India there are several that policies or programs regarding roadways development and all. So there are three important that projects here. One is Golden Quadrilateral, number 2 is North-South Corridor, and third one is this East-West Corridor. They are very, very important in terms of India's transportation, roadways transportation system. Now talking about this East-West Corridor, so they are connecting that easternmost part of our country with the westernmost part. That means from Assam to that Gujarat, there are two important nodes which are connected through this East-West Corridor. Now let us that examine them, that what are the nodes. So this is the Porbandar to Silchar, Porbandar in Gujarat and Silchar in Assam. So as per this question, the option D is the correct answer here, right? So we have discussed up to this question number 11. So once again we are discussing about the marking schemes of the CBSE class 12 geography board examination question paper. So let us discuss about 11. Yes, let us discuss about question number 12. Question number 12, which one of the following statements is true regarding medical tourism in India? A very simple question asked here. You have to identify the correct option regarding this medical tourism. So number 1, tourist travel specially for availing cheap medical facilities. Absolutely correct, right? And the remaining options are irrelevant here. So this question number 12, the correct answer is option A is the correct answer here. So going to next question. So the next question, there are two statements given here, assertion and reason. So on the basis of this, we have to take a decision, right? So here the statement, all the developed countries have opened their markets for products from developing countries. Is it correct? No, absolutely not correct. Now let us examine the reason. That statement given here, another statement, World Trade Organization deals with the global rules of trade between the nations. This statement is absolutely correct. WTO is responsible for all this global policy regarding this world trade and all. Now the option A is incorrect here. So therefore we can come to this conclusion that A is false but R is true here. So this is question number 13. Now the next question number 14. Question number 14. Read the following statements here carefully regarding tertiary activities and choose the correct option. Choose the correct option here. So tertiary activities. So let us observe all these statements here. Tertiary activities include both production and exchange of services. Correct. Tertiary activities involve the commercial output of services. This statement is also correct. Tertiary activities are directly involved in the processing of raw material. Is it correct? Processing of raw material is something which is related with manufacturing of goods and products or secondary sector. So this point is irrelevant here or not applicable here. So this statement is wrong. And number 4, the examples of tertiary activities are plumber, doctor, publishers. This statement is also correct. So as per our discussion, option 1, option 2 and this 4 is correct. Therefore you can choose this option C, only one, sorry, this question, option B you can choose here, only 1, 2 and 4 are correct. So this is the discussion here. Now the next question, question number 15, 16 and 17, based on this particular table, statistical table which is presented here. Now if you carefully observe this table, they are having few important informations and we have to attempt that this question on the basis of this data interpretation. Now let us start about this discussion here. First you observe the countries and their population and the percentage of world population share here, right? So now which of the following set of countries is not represented in the table, right? So if you are talking about the countries, which following of continents is not represented? See, the countries are belonging from different continents, right? They have this identity. Now if you are talking about the option A, Australia and Africa, we have countries from Australia and Africa in our table. And option B, Africa and South America, we have such countries which are also present here. Now Europe and South America, this country is also present here. Now the last option, option D, Australia and Europe, we don't have any countries from Australia and Europe in this table. So we can say that option D is the correct answer, because question is asked here, which one of the following set of countries is not presented? So you carefully examine this, observe this, that is this is not represented. So the most important thing is not represented here, and these are the countries not represented here. Now China, Brazil together accounts for what percentage of the world population? So we have to add China's population here with Brazil and we will get the figure from this table, statistical table here. How many of the listed countries fall under the Asian countries? Now once again we are going back to this previous that table to attempt these two questions, right? So let us study the table once again to attempt these two questions, remaining questions here, right? So if I observe this table here, so we have questions like how many countries are there from Asia, right? So let us examine this. India number 1, China also from Asia, Indonesia from Asia, Pakistan from Asia, Bangladesh from Asia. There are 5 countries which are present right here from Asia, right? And that simple questions, right, you observed here that they are asking about China's population and Brazilian population percentage here, that we have to add the figures from here. This percentage of world population, you take China's percentage 17 plus 2 and Brazil percentage 2.68 will be, if you add these two values, your answer will be there. So this type of data interpretation based questions, right, it become a common trend here nowadays, and the geography, economics like subjects, you have to face, right, more and more number of statistical informations, and you should build or develop this data interpretation skill, right? Now the next questions, we are going to next section, that we have section B, and we are going to discuss that section. Section B, if I observe here are question number 18 and 19 are source based questions. So these source based questions are what? Basically some sources are presented here. So on the basis of this source we have to attempt the questions, right? And you remember each question carrying 3 marks, total marks allotted for this section is 6 here. Again, each source based questions, they are divided right into 3 parts, right? So let us start this source based question one by one. That means we will start from question number 18. So 18, this question you can see one of the map is attached here, and here are few that indications. Suppose this region is marked here with A, and here this region marked as B. Now what is the identity of these two areas here in terms of that agriculture production? These two regions are well known for commercial grain production. They are well known region of the world, right? Now let us examine the questions, let us study the questions, right, one by one, which is applicable here. Write the geographical names, write the geographical name of the area marked as A. So if I am going back to that question, map once again, this A, this is Canadian and American prairies, right? This is an important region for commercial grain cultivation or grain farming here, and the major crop under this grain farming the farmers they grow, that is wheat. Now the next question what is asked here, the next question is given here, name any two major crops grown in the region A. So there are two crops like wheat, I said, oats, barley, then after corns, etc., right? These are the major crops we grow in this cultivations, right? Now explain the agriculture importance of the marked area. So the marked area, that is that this American and Canadian prairie region, they are very important in terms of food supply, because this grain production, that is very important to ensure our food security. So they are playing a crucial role in terms of global food security, and particular the continent also, they are the securing their food security through this cultivations. And number two, this is the farming that helping them to earn huge foreign money exporting the crops or grains that outside regions. So these are the importance here of this particular cultivation. Now the next is what? The next question is question number 19. A passage is given here, carefully read the passage and you answer the questions that follow here. So our topic of the passage is water pollution. A simple that concept once again highlighted here, that is the water pollution here. So you can go through this particular passage. I am not going through this passage here. Let us observe the questions which are asked here, right? Explain how industries are the major contributors of water pollution in India. So you know very well the role of industries regarding this. This industry is what basically that doing here. You have to understand that these industries they directly release the effluents, right, or toxic components, chemical, etc., right, which is harming the water, which is polluting the water, right? So this is one thing. And second question, question number 2, suggests the way for minimizing water pollutions. What suggestion? The suggestions like what? The industry should ensure that before releasing any harmful component or effluent, they should treat it properly. Even hot water also, the industries they should that stable that water, treat water, then only that they should release that, correct? As well as here that government should bring the strict rules and regulation to monitor this entire system, so that this pollutions will be that under control, right, or minimized here. Now the mentioned two rivers of India which are highly polluted. So you know very well the rivers are Ganga rivers and Yamuna river. So if I talk about the Ganga river here, so what is the picture of this river here regarding this case, right? So if I observe the Ganga, that most of the cases we observe this Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, they are the two important states who are basically polluting the Ganga river here, correct? And Yamuna river, this Delhi basically creating the pollutions, right? So in this regards that Delhi is responsible, state, union territories here, right? So you have to understand that these are the two important rivers which are polluted here. Okay. So once again I am repeating here, the mentioned two rivers of India which are highly polluted, the rivers are the Ganga and Yamuna. So the next question, going to the next question. So the next question is here, question number 20 to 23, and that is the part of this section, that is section C. Now section C, we are going to discuss about this section. So we have question number 20, 21, 22, 23, and they are the short answer type questions. There are 4 questions, each question carrying 3 marks, and the total marks allotted for this section is 12. So let's start this section one by one. So the questions are: number 1, examine the relationship between physical environment and human being. Correct? So we human being is basically directly and indirectly related with our surrounding physical environment, there is no doubt. So here we have to understand in what way we are maintaining this relationship, right? So once again I want to recall that particular concept. So here the important thing is what, you have to elaborate the role of what, possibilism and determinism. Correct? So possibilistic approach and deterministic approach. Okay. So what is possibilism and determinism? You have studied them. So this possibilism is what? There is a possibility that we can determine, we can control the nature, correct, through technological innovation. For example, right now I can control the room temperature here. So you have to elaborate that possibilistic approach here. In few cases that we are controlling the nature through technology and all, and here the deterministic approach, as per this approach the environment is dominating us, right? So that is the relationship, right? We have to basically highlight for these questions. Here I have taken one reference from your NCERT for this presentation. You should maintain that this is the interaction between the physical environment and human beings. It is nicely represented here, correct? You can check from these lines: I created the cup, you created night. You created night, I created the lamp. Right? You can understand. So the difficulties, how the difficulties are overcome by human being and their innovation, technological innovations here. Right. So with the help of technology, human beings moved from the stage of necessity to stage of freedom. So that particular answer you have to deliver for this question, that is the interaction between human being and physical environment. So the next question, another questions we have to discuss from this part. So that is, examine the importance of productivity as a pillar of human development. So you know the role of pillar for any building. Similarly, the concept of human development also based on few important parameters. So let us understand and examine them one by one. What are the parameters or pillars are there, right? So here we have parameters like equity, sustainability, productivity and empowerment. These are the major pillars of human development, right? And here, as per our question, you have to elaborate the role of productivity. Productivity means your human labor productivity. You have to highlight that in answer, right? Productivity in terms of what? Human work, right? So we have to mention all these things, right? And here this this productivity basically is the result of what? The skill capabilities and the knowledge that we have with us. Correct? So it is the people who are real wealth of a nation. Therefore, efforts to increase their knowledge, provide better health facilities, ultimately leads to better work efficiency. So these are the points, right? We have to write for this kind of questions here, right? So this is the question we have discussed here. Then going to the next questions. So the next question is, study the following table carefully, answer the question that follow, right? So social classification of workforce in India. We have this categories: primary sector workers, secondary sector and tertiary sector. Here you have percentage of total workforce, right? Like primary sector, their percentage of work, right, workers here, and here also you have male, female, that workers which is represented here. Now after starting this table, we have to attempt few questions. So let us examine the questions. What are the questions given here? Why is there gender difference between primary and tertiary workers? So what we observe from that table? So there are more number of male workers. Male workers are more in tertiary sector, right? And if I talking about the female workers, so female workers, their number is less. Why such difference? We have to highlight that. So we have to highlight that lack of education, lack of skill oriented educations, right, and as well as socio-economic status, gender disparity. These are the points we should highlight for this question here. Now question number 22.2, categories of male and female workers in primary and tertiary sectors are the direct questions from the table, and the information from the information you have to write down this figure. Now why secondary sector has low contribution in India's workforce? Why such contribution? That is very poor and lower contribution by secondary sector. If I observe the status of this economic sector, there is a jump from primary to directly tertiary sector. What is the fact, right? Actually we have to analyze that. So for this answer you can write down these options like lack of skilled workers, lack of skilled workers. Number 2, government policy also responsible for this kind of poor performance in this sector. Number 3, lack of investment. So these are the basically points, and land size or land issue also. So one of the important factor, right? So these are the basically these are the factors basically creating problems, or you can say responsible for what? This lower output or lower contribution from this sector, that is secondary sector of our economy. Now the next question, so we are going to discuss about the next question. The next question is objectives of smart cities mission in India, right? So direct questions from the NCERT here. A smart city, actually what is a smart city? A city is smart in its every aspects, like your smartphone, very smart, correct? So let us understand the concept of smart cities, and as per the questions you have to deliver this particular answer. The objective of the smart cities mission, right? These program initiated by Government of India. Under this program, what are the objectives? Number 1, to promote cities that provide core infrastructure. Number 2, to apply smart solution to infrastructure and services, in order to make them better here. For example, you can see here that from disaster to resource management, every that sector, that city is smart and fast. These are the objectives here. And this another objective, the focus is on sustainable and inclusive development, right? So the smart cities are also targeting what, this approach, that is sustainable approach. So following are the objectives, you have to deliver these 3 points to get full marks from this question. Now the next question, next section will start here, that is section D. Talking about this section, we have question number 24 to 28, and this is the section we have long answer type question. Each questions carrying 5 marks, and the total marks allotted for this section is 25. So you have taken few questions from the different sets. Now let us discuss them. Question number 24, intensive subsistence agriculture is largely practiced in densely populated regions of monsoon Asia. Support the statement. Talking about the monsoon Asia, right? So we have countries like India, Bangladesh, Indonesia, Malaysia. These are the countries basically that belonging from this monsoon Asia. And if you observe, the pattern of agriculture is intensive subsistence agriculture. What is that practice here? Intensive subsistence agriculture is practiced in a region where population pressure is very high on agricultural land. So in this scenario, the most important practice, that is intensive subsistence agriculture. So you have to elaborate that, the area specific, that country's name you have to mention. So first of all, first you should mention the area, their area. Number 2 points, you have to write down that land size of this, this particular agriculture. This land size is very small and fragmented. So due to family inheritance system, as this land is divided from one generation to another generation, right? So that land is fragmented into small parts. So that is also important observation about this intensive subsistence agriculture. Next is agricultural output. Output is all very low here, correct? So these are the points you have to write down, and if you observe, these points or characteristics actually matching with the Asian countries, especially the monsoon part, right, of Asia. So therefore we can rightly justified here, intensive subsistence agriculture is largely practiced in densely populated regions of monsoon Asia. So we have to write down the points and we have to represent example, right, to get full marks. So that's all about the question number 24. Now question number 20, for another question, the Indian agricultural problems are physical problems as well as institutional problems. We know that output or the contribution from the agriculture is very low, and that is alarming for us, right? So here are few factors we have to elaborate. The factors which are responsible here, this is physical factors. So under physical factors, what are the points we should write here? So you have to write about dependency on monsoon rainfall, dependency on monsoon rainfall. And number 2 is soil fertility. Correct. So these are the 2 important points under physical factors. If I observe this monsoon rainfall, most of the part of our country, right, or most of the areas, we can see till now the agriculture is dependent on monsoon rainfall. right? And due to this reason, what is happening, actually if the monsoon is good, there is good agriculture production. If monsoon is excessive, again it's bad for our agriculture practices. And if again the monsoon is less here, right, that means less rainfall, it can also create an adverse impact on our agriculture production. So therefore the dependency on this, that monsoon rainfall, that is the responsible factors which is part of these physical factors and rightly justified here. And the soil fertility, different states, different areas, we have different soils and their fertility level also different, and different soil provide different you can say opportunity for the growth of any particular crop. For example, that Rajasthan desert part, right, if you see the soil is not fertile, right, and if you talking about the Ganges, deltic part, or this Ganges plain, we have fertile soil good for agriculture production. So therefore throughout the country this soil fertility also that important factor which is basically responsible for this kind of lower growth or lower that contribution from these agriculture sectors. And talking about the institutional institutional problems means that government policies. So you have to write here about few important points like institutional factors. So what are the points you should write here? Should write about that government policy, MSP, minimum support price, credit or loan. So these are the factors you have to explain, correct, that is basically playing a significant role here. For example, you take MSP decided by government here, but in most of the cases it is very true MSP is not sufficient for the farmers, right. So that is also a true fact here. And loan credit system definitely not monitored by government in many areas, in many cases. Therefore they have many problems, right, that the farmers face in India. So we have to highlight all this point to justify that agriculture problems not only related with physical factors, government that initiatives also important here, and that we have to highlight here. So that is the discussion on this question. Now next questions we will be discussing, that is this part, manufacturing industries are classified on several bases. Yes, industries are classified on the different on the basis of different criteria. So there are different criteria on the basis of what industries are classified. For example, let us start this example, that is on the basis of raw material we can classify the industries. On the basis of raw material you have mineral based industries and agro based industries. So you have to highlight that classification, that on the basis of raw material this we have this mineral based industries, agro based industries. Another criteria you represent here on the basis of ownership. So on the basis of ownership we have private sector industries, public sector, joint sector, so we have to write down the criterias and you mention all these classifications with suitable examples. Again you have size of the, on the basis of size of the industry you have small scale industries, large scale industries, and we have to give one example. So this way, in this way you have to represent this answer. So this is all about question number 25. Now talking about question number 26. Question number 26. Explain the benefits of the Indira Gandhi Canal, its command area. Now, I will introduce, with this map, right? I will introduce you with this map. You can see this particular canal is running through this region, which is a dry region. And in this dry area, the contribution of this canal is very, very significant and important, that you have to understand. Right? Now, what are the questions basically? What are the points we have to write to get full marks here? Explain the benefits of the Indira Gandhi Canal. So, first you give little bit introduction about this canal and its role in this area. So, here I have represented that one format. It is not recommended that you have to strictly follow what is actually written here. Any relevant points which is that according to our NCERT textbook or syllabus is accepted here, right? So, I have given this introduction about this canal, and then I have discussed about the benefits. You can go through the benefits. The points number 1, if you start, introduction of this canal irrigations change the entire regions. It transformed a dry region into a fertile area. You can see the transformation in the agriculture economy of the region. So, that is the contribution of this Indira Gandhi Canal, which is also known as Rajasthan Canal here. The next point what you will write here, soil moisture, that also increased here, right? It's a good sign for productivity, especially for agriculture productivity. Next point, the traditional crops were only allowed to grow here due to this kind of environmental conditions, right? So, this gram, bajra, jowar have been replaced by the wheat like cotton like crops. It's a huge transformation, massive transformations by this canal, correct? So, that is very important point here. Now, the next is intensive irrigations, no doubt help the region, but new problems also emerged here, that also you have to highlight with 1 or 2 lines, correct? Problems like salinity, waterlogging, these are the problems you add, and these will be the perfect answer, right? Now, going to the next question of our discussion, that is define the term digital divide, explain the difference of digital divide between developed and developing countries, right? So, first of all you have to explain what is digital divide here, alright? Digital divide here, role of a divider, a divide. When our society or that civilization that is divided on the basis of these digital equipments or digital assets like internet, computer, then cell phone, etc., etc., that is a digital divide. One section they have the assets of this digital platform, another section who don't have. So, that is the difference created here, that is the digital divide here, we have to highlight that. Now, talking about these differences between the developed and developing countries, so you have to highlight that how developed countries that benefited from this digital assets, and another part of this question asked here, that is developing countries or underdeveloped countries, right, how they are lagging behind. So, the developed countries, they have full access, right, to utilize this digital content or digitized equipments, like they have high speed of internet and the tools and equipments. So with this they are growing faster. This particular digital that assets helping them to accelerate their growth rate. Whereas developing countries facing that internet issue, then after due to this income level, poor income level of the populations, we don't have that purchasing capacity also. We can't afford this kind of high speed of internet or digital gadgets, right? So the underdeveloped countries or developing countries, so they can't that utilize this digital that platforms or tools or contents, okay, for their upliftment. So that is a divisions is created here, which you have to highlight. You can also that give examples like during corona period or that COVID period, what we observe that one section that benefited from this digitized system. For example, the students who are from urbanized area or from the developed background, for them education was a continuous process. But the students from the rural area or the remote area, their learning process, it was they were basically deprived here from their learning process here because of this fact, that is access of this digital system. Okay, so that is the point you have to highlight here, how digitized era creating a divisions in our society. So that is the question asked here, right? You try to represent this with the help of points. Now going to the next question, road transport is the most economical for short distance transportation. Yes, it is absolutely true, because there are several advantages of road transport. So you have to highlight few advantages, like it is easily for door to door connection. So this is the road transport system which can create the door to door connection easily. Number two, difficult topography or difficult landform like mountain, plateau, also you can construct at least a road, right? So these are the points you have to highlight here. And the construction of road is what? Economical also. How economical also? The initial investment of this road construction is very low than railway line, than that airport, etc. So we can highlight that fact also, right? So here you have to justify how this is economical for short distances compared to railway. So that is the main priority here, and we have to explain all the points, right? So we are going to discuss the next question here. So the next question is question number 29 and 30. They are the map based questions here, and map based question we will be discussing them in a separate that class, or we will conduct another session for map skill based questions. So with this, I am ending the class. Thank you all of you.